Hello and welcome to the Year of Gnomes wrap-up video. This has been an amazing 2022. I had an idea in late 2021 that, hey, as of December, I'll have had 12 patterns published that are for gnomes. And 12 gnomes, 12 months seems like a pretty obvious connection. I'll just do this thing. And then I realized that I probably should tell some people what I was going to do, because if in January I just popped up and said, hey, I'm doing this thing, here's my project, here's first one, January's Year of Gnomes entry, I knew that at least some people would be like, oh, I wish I would have known. So I kind of really hastily whipped this up at the end of the year and just kind of threw it out there. I thought maybe 100 people were going to come along for the fun, dipping in and out. But I was really wrong about that number, and we're going to get to some of the numbers real soon, and we're going to have a bit of a party. We're going to talk about my gnomes, we're going to talk about your gnomes, and we're going to hand out a bunch of amazing grand prizes. So let's have fun. So if you don't know me, my name is Sarah Shira, also known as Imagine Landscapes online, and I am obsessed with this Scandinavian Nordic style of gnomes. And I love them. I love their little hats on their faces look. I love their snowy beards. I love their hats and their funny little bodies. And I started obsessively knitting them. And then I started designing them and loving how much fun other people were having with them. And so it became a whole thing. I didn't expect to be a gnome designer when I started my design publishing stuff, but this is what I do now. And I love it. So the Year of Gnomes, like I said, was sort of something I threw out there a little last minute, and a bunch of dyers agreed to sort of help me provide some kits for people that wanted kits. With my Year of Gnomes, what I wanted to do was to do a really limited palette, to pick 4 colors and just re-knit all of the gnomes that I designed in other colors. There was a spring gnome that was very green, and there was a winter gnome that was all wintry colors. And I wanted to sort of unify them and get like a family shot where they were all mostly the same. And I knew that some other people would be interested in this, and some people would want to go completely different. So the Year of Gnomes had some dyers involved in offering some options. Some of them changed it up throughout the year. A bunch of people gave prizes, and we just sort of threw this together last minute. As long as you knit one of my gnomes start to finish within a calendar month, you could enter it for prizes. You didn't have to do all 12 months. You didn't have to do different gnomes. You didn't have to do them the same colors. All you had to do was start and finish a gnome. Didn't matter which, didn't matter if you did the same one over and over. It was really open, and that was a lot of the fun for me, was seeing what people chose to do and the way their stuff came together. My yarns were from Miss Babs. Miss Babs Yarns is an American dyer, and they put together this really sort of a dream set for me. I've always wanted to do a set that was sort of really great grays and a really moody red, and so Miss Babs helped me choose this set. So we've got Shale, Moonscape, Kobold is the red, and then White Peppercorn as the almost white. It's a little pink, little warm toned. And those were the colors that they helped me pick out. And I got the yarns at the beginning of the year, and I was just like, oh, this is gonna be so much fun. And here we are. I have obviously more than 12 gnomes in front of me because I reknit all of the patterns, and I did them in the order they were published. So the first gnome pattern that I ever did, for instance, is called Never Not Gnoming, and it had 3 gnomes. There was Norbert, Natasha, and Nicholas, sort of large, medium, and small, although Norbert here in no way would be large by today's gnome standards. I think Gnome de Plume here is probably the biggest among the original 12. So those are sort of the yarns that I worked with, the gnomes that I had fun with. It was unexpected. It was hard, really hard for me to keep to the patterns as written, and there were a couple things where I changed up. I didn't necessarily use color 1 exactly where in the pattern I said to use color 1, but I did resist the urge to sort of start modifying heavily and sort of to add a very different look, because I wanted to have sort of the original 12 but reknit. And I managed to keep my hands off of the heavy modifications that I love doing, and was one of the reasons that my son sort of jokingly gave me the hashtag never not gnoming, because he'd walk into a room and I'd be knitting another gnome and it'd be like hashtag moms never not gnoming. And that's where that pattern name came from. And that's sort of the impulse I have, is to knit a gnome, but then to do it again, but different, again, but different, again, but different. And yeah, that's just what makes me really excited about gnomes, I think, is the way that little changes make big changes in their personality. So let's talk stats, because I said that I kind of thought maybe 100 people would join me in a Year of Gnomes, and I also said that I was wrong. How wrong was I? Well, 2,134 people participated and entered their gnomes through the year. There were a total of 13,282 gnomes entered in the knit along. And those are just official gnomes. A lot of people were doing more than one gnome a month, but I limited everyone to just one entry per month so that it wasn't a contest. It's just like, knit a gnome, be happy. Don't feel like somebody who knits, like if you knit a complicated one, it's your first time doing cables and you worked all month on it, let's say. I didn't want it to be something that someone knit, 20 tiny gnomes and you felt like, oh, well, they've got a better chance of winning. So we just capped it at one entry per person. So that 13,000 gnomes is not a true reflection of the total number of gnomes that were knit. And in fact, when we get to the monthly stats, you can see that the number of gnomes entered for a month when we had mystery gnomes don't equal the number of gnomes entered for the the knit along prizes for those mystery gnomes. So there are sort of hundreds, if not thousands, of uncounted gnomes in this amazing number here. 689 people, not including me, did all 12 months. That's almost 700 people clocking in a gnome every month for a year. I don't know what to say to that except, wow. Thank you for playing with me. I feel like somebody who threw a party and everyone came. And there were 119 prizes. Stay tuned for a few more of those. Donated by yarn companies, local yarn shops, pattern bag, project bag makers, and some people were just average, ordinary knitters who wanted to add to the festive experience, which again speaks to the incredible community that we have built here of people who just really like gnomes. There were on Instagram 7,581 uses of the hashtag Year of Gnomes when I did the stats. And I added up all of the Year of Gnomes posts on Ravelry that were specifically in the Imagine Landscapes group and that were about, or in threads related to the Year of Gnomes. So this didn't include all the chatter for the December gnome and all the chatter for other things. Kitten, hey, st. No. I went in and tallied all of the discussion posts in the Imagine Landscapes Ravelry group in threads devoted to Year of Gnomes. So not including mystery gnome threads, not including the incredibly chatty December mystery knit along, not including any of those, just specifically the Year of Gnomes threads in English and German. And we had 47,203 posts last year. If it seemed like you were busy with gnomes, you were. So was I. What a year. Hey, I need you not to be here right now. Can you go sleep somewhere? All right, so if we look at the months, the first month was the big month, and that was January. We had 1,662 gnomes, and things did sort of drop off and then pick up again. But I'm still just staggered by these numbers. The average is over 1,000 gnomes per month because we ended up with over 13,000 gnomes in 12 months. The like if you look at December, there were 972 gnomes entered, but there were almost 1,500 gnomes in the December mystery gnome thread on Ravelry entered for prizes. So that's what I mean about there being a bit of a discrepancy. Not everybody who makes gnomes wants to officially enter them. A lot of people just like to do what they want to do on their own terms. And so the number of gnomes out there in the world, I promise you, is bigger than 13,000 this year. And that makes me so happy. The other statistic I went through and added up here, and this is not perfect. Somewhere in here, I'm missing 1,000 gnomes, but I was really struggling with the spreadsheet. It's a big beast and I'm not good with spreadsheets. So let's just take this as written. The Never Not Gnoming pattern, the original pattern, here's Norbert, here's Natasha, and here's Nicholas. Those 3 gnomes were absolutely the stars of the show when it came to official entries. It's my favorite pattern to knit and reknit and to modify and to play with and to change up and to knit in all the colors of the rainbow. And there were people who actually did their Year of Gnomes as all colors of the rainbow. So Year of Gnomes, big winner was Never Not Gnoming, with No Fun Like Gnome Fun, which is the second most popular, also being a pattern with 3 gnomes and really small gnomes. So we've got, where are we here? I can't see them, but there's Noah and there's Naomi. Unfortunately, my cats got to Niblet last night. There was an incident at 2 a.m. and I'm not sure if Niblet survived underneath some furniture or if we're going to be reknitting Niblet. Anyways, the year No Fun Like Gnome Fun was second most popular. And then after that, it was a couple of them were vying for intention. Gnome Pun Intended with the fabulous scrunchy hat had 877. Oh Gnome You Didn't, which is this one without the beard, the first one without the beard, had 833. And then Make No Mistake, I don't have here because Make No Mistake was actually published in 2022. So it counted for a lot of people, absolutely. But for me, I was sticking to the original 12. So I actually have a lot of gnomes left to knit in this unified color set. And yes, there will be another Year of Gnomes, just not right this year. I'm going to take at least a year off and kind of breathe for a little bit and, always leave people wanting, right? That said, in Ravelry right now, there is an unofficial group of people who are doing their own thing on their own terms, which is great. I just don't have the energy to organize it the same way I did this year. So the unofficial thread, I think, unofficial? The unofficial thread for Ravelry is Gnome Chat 2023, I think is what I called it. And if you want to just talk about gnomes, whether or not you're knitting all 12 months, that's the place to do it on Ravelry. And if you want to set goals, the people over there are super excited to read goals and to see you and cheer you as you attempt to meet them. As you look at this monthly overview, if you're a little worried about a couple of the gnomes that look like they were very unpopular, don't feel too badly for them. A bunch of these were exclusive to a Jimmy Beans subscription box and weren't available to the general public. Those gnomes will be coming on sale in February, and we're going to do a knit along about the Grimblewood collection. So stay tuned for that mid-February. So yeah, it's not that Neil and Nedward and Normanda and Nola were the ugly stepchildren of the gnome world. They were just sort of exclusive and brand new this year. Let's see if I can stay kitten free for this next bit. I want to talk about the prizes because the grand prizes are a really big deal. You didn't have to knit all 12 gnomes, and you didn't have to knit all 12 months. That was never something that I expected other people to do. That was like a me thing, and I just wanted there to be a bit of a stretch goal to make it extra fun if you did manage all 12 and 12. So those 689 of you who did manage to do 12 and 12, congratulations. That's a really big deal. That is taking an initial bit of enthusiasm and sticking to it. And much like a cat, determined to get snuggles and or to eat gnomes, you just kept going. Everyone who wins is going to get an email from me. It's going to go to you and the person who donated the prize at the same time to make it easier for you to connect. So check your email and check your junk mail filter if you don't have it. If it didn't show up at all, let me know, and you can find my email at the bottom of any of my patterns. It's in the footer on the pattern pages. Hey, this is later, Sarah, remembering to tell you that if you did 12 and 12 gnomes, you get a special prize, all of you. There is going to be a digital prize sent to your email. So check that out. Miss Babs donated a $150 gift certificate, and that prize is going to username Jody Breeze. Jody, congratulations. Ancient Art Fibercrafts is donating the Ultimate Unified Gnome Kit, which is a year's worth of yarn for the gnomes that they put together when they were doing their yarn offerings. And that prize is going to user K. Kachek. Alte Künste is a hand dyer who uses only natural dyes in Germany and is donating one multi-gnome set, which is four 100-gram skeins of yarn that they put together for the Year of Gnomes, and that is going to Knitwish. Congratulations. Yarnaceous Fibers is donating a $50 gift card with a gnome kit, which is the small size with 4 20-gram mini skeins. So you're getting some yarn and your choice of yarn from Yarnaceous. That goes to KMAOS VED. So KMAOS VED. Congratulations to you. Glenheaven Knits in Australia is donating 3 100-gram skeins of the winner's choice from her Etsy shop. And that goes to Mimi Donna 29. Congratulations. Invictus Yarns is donating a $50 gift certificate, and that is going to T. Morneau. Congratulations. Ginger Snap, Canadian yarn dyer and bag maker, is donating a large wireframe custom printed gnome bag, and that bag will be going to user Archie. Congratulations. Dream in Color Yarn, an American dye company, is donating 5 skeins of fingering weight yarn, either the smooshy base or smooshy with cashmere. And that's going to Christine Lamb. Congratulations, Christine. Bitten Mitten Company, I believe is a yarn shop. They've donated a kit for the spring gnome pattern, which includes yarn, project bag, and stitch markers. That is going to Mariadic 13. Congratulations. We have an anonymous donation from a knitter who wanted to give a lot of joy. So that prize is being called A Whole Lot of Yarn and Other Wonders, and includes a Tory Burch Little Black Lamb pouch, Slipped Stitch Studio Big Bang Small Project Bag, a Slipped Stitch Needle Nook, another Notion and Project Bag. We've got 100 grams of Louisa Harding Petura yarn. We have 4 Miss Babs Yummy 2-ply yarns in 4 different colors. Then there's a Miss Babs Yummy 3-ply yarn in another color, Miss Babs Katadine colorway Morocco, a Maker's Keep magnetic snap bracelet in turquoise. So that whole thing, which we're calling the Whole Lot of Yarn and Other Wonders from Anonymous, thank you very much Anonymous, is going to user Glacier Frame. Prairie Bag Works, makes bags, is donating a 1-year subscription to bags, which is a $130 value and includes 4 gnome bags. And the lucky winner of that is Dragonflower. Congratulations. Our final prize for today is from me and the gnomes, and we are giving away a $75 gift certificate to the Imagine Landscapes. I call it the Gnomeware shop. I don't really know what to call it, but some of the art that I've had designed for some of the knit-alongs and other things, we've put onto t-shirts and mugs and that sort of thing, and there's a print-on-demand thing so that when you want a tote bag that says Year of Gnomes, for instance, you can go and get it there. And anyways, the Gnomeware shop gift certificate is going to user Missy T. So congratulations, everybody. If you feel a little adrift right now, Yeah, me too. I only had one thing on the needles the other day, and I was like, what am I even doing with myself? I do have a bunch of gnomes that I'm designing. I never count designs on the needles when I count projects. I've got to keep like my playful brain and my work brain kind of separate when it comes to that. But I'm designing some projects. I've got some really fun stuff coming up, some collaborations with Jimmy Beans again, and some other things I can't tell you about. There will be Mystery Gnome knit-alongs. There will be another December gnome. And the first Jimmy Beans collaboration, the Grimblewoods collection, volume 1, that is coming out mid-February, and it's going to have a knit-along, including the toadstool and the little cottage, if you are interested in that. So check that out mid-February. As I said, I'm not doing an official Year of Gnomes this year. We will announce when I'm doing it again. 2022 was truly a Year of Gnomes. Thank you for making it so very full of so very many wonderful gnomes. You've been wonderful. Thank you, and happy gnoming.